back to the stream. How are you all doing? So yeah, we're gonna just be, I think the game is in a good spot, generally speaking, for a playtest build. So we're just gonna be doing some quality of life stuff, some minor improvements around the game. You all did not want the surprise revealed that I started working on last night. So you will be able to see that during the playtest. So yeah, before I get into everything that we're going to do today, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting on Steam. The Steam page is also how you're going to get access to the playtest if you are not a Patreon member, so I'll describe all that or explain all that right now. So the way that the playtest works, the playtest will start on Monday for Patreon subscribers. So if you are currently a subscriber or if you subscribe to either tier at any point during that 1 week early access period, a Steam key will be sent to the email address associated with your Patreon account, and you will be able to use that Steam key to get access to the playtest. So, of course, the Patreon support helps me out a lot. There's some other perks here. If you subscribe for this at this sponsor tier here, you're going to get an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, so you won't need to purchase it on Steam again, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So if you want to get access to the playtest and you also want those perks, that you could just subscribe to this for 1 month, cancel the subscription so it doesn't renew and you're not paying every month if you don't want to. Of course, I appreciate the support if you do choose to stay subscribed for longer, but you only need to pay for 1 month to get those perks that I just mentioned. But again, you do not have to be a Patreon member to get access to the playtest. The playtest will be open to everyone a week after the Patreon early access period starts. So Patreon members get access on the 6th of April, and then on the 13th of April, anyone who wants to try the playtest will be able to do so from the Steam page. That will also run for a week, and the playtest will shut down on the 20th. So just putting that out there. You can support the game, the development financially if you so choose, but it is not a requirement to be able to try the playtest. You could also support me by purchasing my Udemy courses. This is a great way to do so, and also you'll learn how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check it out. And what else? I think that's basically it. All right, we can jump right into the game dev now. Hello, Celestial Beagle, welcome back. Nathan Sand, good to see you. Clicker Tail, welcome. Ninja Link, good to see you. Chris, welcome back. What's the surprise? Unfortunately, it has to remain a surprise. The poll has spoken. Hello, Code Red, welcome. Welcome. Snupbill, thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciated, as always. Thank you. With the message, yummers. Look at all those yummers. Excellent. Okay, all right. So what are we doing here? Oh, here comes the cat. All right. So I want to rework the Staff of Vela because it's not... I don't think it's super interesting. I almost never take it when I'm doing my runs. But we could also do some quality of life stuff. I want to track some more statistics. I do need to improve the character select screen. I want to see if I can do some improvements there. So I think those are the main ones that I want to get done. Again, I think the game is currently in a state where it's like I could release the current build of the game as a playtest and it would be fine. So there's nothing like super pressing that needs to be addressed, but since the playtest comes out on Monday, we might as well spend the time between now and Monday to get it as good as possible. Okay. Do you see this cat? What is your deal? Why are you... Okay. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, and then the surprise, that will be available to you. So I can give you a little bit of a hint about the surprise. If you want a hint. It will be something that you'll have to unlock by playing the game. So it's going to be some kind of unlockable. That kind of narrows it down, right? It's some kind of content, but I'll leave you to discover the surprise when you play the playtest, of course. But that means that I have to work on that. It's not finished yet, so I need to work on it off stream and get it done by Monday. Should be plenty doable, but Anyway, so let's take a look. So I also want to do this quality of life to make cards quick move back to their original positions when using them in events like enchant, upgrade, etc. I think I have an approach for this that I want to do. I basically will just store a history of the positions that a card has been on a specific board, and then try to place the card at that position before I move it somewhere else. The main problem with that is, like, how am I going to clear the list of positions? Like, at what point should I, like, prune that list? That's going to be the trickiest part of that, I think, but probably not super tricky. Anyway, let's think about what we want to do with the staff of the law. What is it called? Skull staff? Yeah, skull staff. So let's go project settings. Actually, let me just check something really quick. I'm going to try not to reveal the surprise. Oops. So let me just... Okay. Cool. I wonder why this is here. I'm going to move this, actually. This is kind of like a tangent, but I think this would be more appropriate in here. And we'll move the default run config into here as well. Public static default run config. We'll put this here. I hope that works. Okay. Well, that clears up quite a lot. Default, okay, that makes more sense to me. I should probably make sure that didn't break anything, but let's see. Game debug. Let's ignore the save file. Enable test player cards. Let's add the skull staff. Okay. The best kind of surprise, or best kind of prize is a surprise. Hello, Johnny Phi, welcome. Menace to Society Kitty, yeah. It wasn't a new boss. You don't know that. You don't know that. Could be anything. Oh wait. Yeah. It could be that I'm making bosses unlockable, you don't know. The surprise is that you can unlock a banana skin for the main character for just $9.99. Yeah. And it's not going to be localized either, so you're paying me 10 USD no matter where you live. Okay, anyway. Let's make sure that this works. Oh. I do want to update the character select. I think that that's probably what I'm going to spend a lot of my time on before the playtest releases, because the character select screen, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, and also it's not the most intuitive thing in the world, so I'm imagining that's probably going to be a little bit of a stumbling block. Let's just make sure everything's good to go. Okay. Tutorials off, save. Actually, I should probably turn on suppress tutorial. And now the cat is screaming. Very cool, very cool. All right. So this Staff of Allah consumes all non-necrosis statuses of the opponent board and deals half of the total status stacks consumed as damage. So I don't know, that just feels like underwhelming to me. I think it's kind of a cool idea, but I almost wonder, instead of consuming, maybe it should do something else. So let's open up the skull staff. So this is consuming these things. Let's see. How is that actually doing the consumption? Status consumer. I'm out of coffee. Wow, that's sad. Anyway, I might have to go grab some more real quick. But anyway. Morning meetings. That's unfortunate. They begin already. Friday morning meetings should be illegal. I actually worked for a couple places where the policy was no meetings on Friday, which was pretty nice. Anyway. Do we want to make this do something based on the current statuses? Let me take a look. I mean, I may just transform this into just like a typical status applicator. What don't we have a lot of? So we don't have a lot of healing. We definitely don't have a lot of shielding. Don't have a lot of fire. I mean, we do have kind of a lot of fire, I guess. Poison we have a lot of. Holy, none for the player. That's fine. Bleed is fine. We don't have a lot of swarm. We don't have a lot of speed. We don't have a lot of blind. We don't have a lot of crit chance. Exhaust, that's fine. Confuse, self-critical. And then we have unspecified abilities here. So I think maybe I do want to make it something to do with status stacks. We have a 10:30 stand-up every day because we're all distributed, but this was a special extra fun time one. Very nice. Good morning, RN Genesis. Good to see you. It's time for Game Dev once again. Just going through your C# tutorial. Thank you for speaking to me like an idiot because I am one. Yeah, I guess you're welcome. I think, yeah, I mean, I try to make my tutorials as like bite-sized and clear as possible. Like there's typically all the lessons in my courses are like around 15 minutes long. And we just focus like very narrowly on one thing in that lesson. I think that makes it a little bit easier. You could just do like one lesson at a time and really focus in on that one instead of a million things going on in one. So we have the status consumer. What do we want this to do instead? IDKY, but when I took your course, I envisioned you as bald. I think I'm kind of like the opposite of bald, aren't I? Kind of like the opposite of bald, I guess. So we want to do this. I'm thinking something along the lines of like we can apply status, like maybe something like for each unique status type applied, we can do something. So for each unique status type applied, I wonder, maybe something interesting, maybe this could be like a status application augmenter. So maybe we could say for each, so this will like, this staff will for each status applied, maybe it will just reapply like an additional stack of that status or something. Would that be too strong? Would that be too strong? So if we say for each unique, so let's just say fire is applied 4 times. Well, it's just unique. So it says, okay, it applied fire, and then it just goes ahead and like adds 2 fire on top of that. So it can kind of like mimic whatever statuses you're applying and just like replay those or add on to that. So it's just kind of like this generic item that just naturally fits in with whatever statuses you're applying. So if you want extra, if you have a poison build going and you just want to get a little bit of extra poison applied, throw this staff on your board, and that will just give you an extra source of poison. That might work. I've done a few courses now, and yours by far the best. Helps that it also modern. Oh, awesome. Glad to hear that. Thank you, RN Genesis. Good morning, the malicious rabbit. So let's try that. Let's see. So let's do var status stacks provider, new status stacks applied provider. Okay, so let's do status stacks applied provider. Let's do bleed status. Am I gonna have to copy all these statuses? Fire, bleed, poison, fire, bleed, poison, and shield. So bleed stacks provider, fire stacks provider, poison stacks provider, shield. Let's just get rid of all this, I suppose. We'll just clear this out. Okay. What happened to my... Wait a minute. I accidentally deleted the shield. I don't think we need that. How does this work? To board. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Conditional bleed is equal to new conditional ability decorator. We're going to do new bleed. Well, we need to do... Ah, shoot. Okay. Let's do var value scalar is equal to new value scalar. Let's do const int base stacks to apply is equal to 3. Var current stacks to apply is equal to 3. So we're going to do current stacks to apply. Oh, this needs to scale. Oh my gosh, I can't type today. This is going to be annoying. Okay. So then we put the generic value provider in here. Okay, dynamic bleed, dynamic magnitude ability. We want to put the value scaler in there, and then we're going to say new bleed. Okay. Conditional bleed, conditional ability decorator. We're going to decorate the dynamic bleed, and then we're going to do condition bleed stacks provider dot get value is greater than 0. Okay, so let's put the bleed stacks provider, fire stacks provider, poison stacks provider, shield stacks provider. Then we do the conditional bleed, and now we got to do this for the rest of it. Dynamic fire, conditional fire, fire stacks provider get value is greater than 0. Dynamic poison, conditional poison, bar dynamic shield, and then conditional shield. Okay. Oh, thank you, AI autocomplete. All right. So there's the abilities there. Var, let's do scalar is equal to ability scalars dot make additive scalar 1. Current stacks to apply is equal to scalar base stacks to apply tier, and then we're going to say value scalar dot set. Oh. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do anything like that. I just change the current stacks to apply, and that will automatically update since that's just an anonymous function there. All right. Okay, whenever for each unique status applied to the enemy since last execution, I don't need all this. Apply yeah, that should work. All right, let's just see if that works, I suppose. I think that should work. So I'm basically just checking, did we apply shield, poison, fire, bleed, etc.? And if we did, which is what this conditional decorator is doing, then it will just apply, 3 stacks or whatever of that thing. So let's put the staff. Let's put the staff there, and then we need to get something. Let's just do like a skeleton mage. And we'll see if that works. Let's go find some combat. I'm stoked to try the new game engine Gary from Gary's mod made called Sandbox. Yeah, I've heard about that. Somebody mentioned it on stream just yesterday. Was it yesterday? Looks kind of cool. Changing the skull staff. Yeah, the skull staff was not super interesting, so we're reworking it. So let's see if this works. So that applies 2 fire. That should apply 3 fire. Perfect. So I should see that the staff of Villa applied 3 fire. Yeah. So this is just an extra way of getting some more status stacks out of your build. So I should be able to do something like add item frog. Add item frog. Put that there. Oh, I can't put it on my board yet because I don't know how to play my own game. Okay, and we go here. So now it should be applying poison and fire. Yeah, so we can see that the staff of Villa applied 3 fire, applied 3 poison. So that's going to be a great way. Like, it's going to be useful if you're applying multiple statuses, but it's also going to be useful just to get like extra status applications out of the run there. I think I have another idea for alchemy. Actually, this may not work. Delete this. Anyway, I think that staff is much better now, much more interesting. What do you think about Claude source code being leaked? Think it will change anything or harm anything? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's just source code. Like, it's not some like massive trade secret. Like, the model weights and stuff didn't get leaked or anything. It's just the API that basically drives the interaction. And it's like, I mean, what really is going to be in there that surprises anybody, you know, or is like super secret, right? But who knows? I could be wrong. Hello, Stray Pointer. I really need to get back to your C# tutorial playing Fallout New Vegas for the first time. Addicting. I've heard that, yeah. Uses C#. You can apply shield to enemy. No, I think the shield... Do you want to try the shield? I don't think it's going to apply shield to enemy. I think it's going to apply to self. But let's just make sure that that's the case. Hello, D. Wernock. Welcome. Good to see you again. Super fun peeking behind the curtain. Yeah. Yeah, it's apparently 500,000 lines of code, which is like, seems like a lot, but I don't know. Maybe a lot of that code is... See, the thing with like, when you're working for a company, and you have like big enterprise clients, a lot of times what you need to do to secure those enterprise deals is like add a bunch of APIs that are specifically designed for those clients so that you can like sign the deal. So even when I was just working in a smaller capacity signing, you know, the company that I was working for was signing like multi-million-dollar contracts, right? And a lot of those contracts came with stipulations that we would build certain APIs for that customer, for that client specifically. And so I wonder how much of that 500,000 lines of code is just all these deals Anthropic is making, but they need to add all of this like very bespoke functionality to their product as part of the terms of those deals. So, you know, you never know. You never know. Oh, did the staff not apply shield? It did not. Oh, right. Good thing you called out shield, Ninja Link, because I think it's detecting shield applied to the enemy. So this actually needs to be this shield stacks provider. We'll just get rid of to the enemy. Well, that's going to be difficult wording as well. For each unique status applied by allied items. Shoot, now this should be both of them. So this should actually be, so since it's turning into status applied by allied items. Oh, this is kind of confusing, actually. So the problem is I actually don't have a way of tracking status stacks applied by cards specifically. I don't know how to change that wording then. Yeah, I think what I need to do is I need to make this status stacks applied provider. I need to be able to track this based on allied. So the problem is, like, right now I can only track when statuses were applied to a board, but I have no way of differentiating whether that was like the enemy applying a status to my board or if it was like me applying a status to my board. So that's going to be a problem. So I am going to actually need to improve this. So we'll just get the staff working in a very basic way for now, and then I'll have to go and update that later. But we'll just change that to 4 source board for now. You the only one who draw the card assets you have? Yes. I have done every bit of art myself. Anyway, let's see if this works with shield now. Wouldn't you want holy in there since you have armor? The player is not really ever supposed to apply holy. Claude has been decompiled before, and it was just the JavaScript front end that got leaked. Model weights aren't even really that interesting. A line can be like one character. Lines are a bad metric, yeah. Staff says it activates when you apply status to an enemy. You wouldn't expect self-armor, right? Is it shield or armor? I'm confusing my new terminology. Well, it's called shield in the code base, but it's called armor on the player-facing side. So they're interchangeable, really. I think a lot of people thought there was some magic behind the scenes, and it turns out there's nothing groundbreaking, me included, yeah. Hello, hello. I almost said hello, good morning. Hello, X-Jokes, good morning to you. With Mimic and Obelisk, make it pretty easily to get holy. Yeah, I mean, we could add holy, I guess. Anyway, let's see if it's doing the shield properly. So this should be applying shield as well. Yeah, that applied 3 shield. So there we go. 3 armor. Okay. We might as well put holy in there, I guess. So conditional holy here, and then holy stacks provider there. We can give that a test too. So Claude isn't just 200 people in a bunker somewhere typing really fast? Apparently not. Apparently not. That comes as a shock to me, honestly. So we'll see if this is also going to apply holy. Definitely need to work on the clarification of a lot of this stuff. Oh, there's so much to do. Okay, so that applied 4 holy. So the enemy board is taking holy damage. Okay, so that's working. I agree it is a bit silly, but when it says unique status, I would expect holy to be included. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Maybe an undead priest that has you that you turned as you can't use holy yourself. A fallen angel. Yeah, fallen angel would be good. Okay, I think that's a good rework for the staff. So let's just rework skull staff. I think that makes more sense. So we'll just go ahead and put that as done. All right, let's work on this quality of life thing now. Make cards quick move back to their original positions when using them in events, like enchant upgrade. So we're gonna have to take a look at the board manager. Get quick move target. Where is this used? Okay. Just looking through this code here. I'm just trying to figure out what onboard unregistered. So I think I need to make some improvements here, but I think what I want to do is... So all the quick move stuff is in here. So what I need to do is I need to actually listen for all the card position changes in this board manager, and I need to store a running list of those things. So yeah, I think that's the thing to do. So when we register the board here, we're going to connect to the board inventory component card placed signal probably. Yeah, we're gonna have to hook into a bunch of signals and whatnot. I need to think carefully about this. This is also some like critical code in here, so I don't want to break it before the playtest, but there's a bunch of like card registration stuff scattered throughout this board manager and card mouse events manager. I'm gonna try to keep everything within the board manager as much as possible. So we'll do that. I was thinking the other day it might be too big of a change, and we spoke about it before, but I think the comment log is being replaced by a post-combat summary. More informative and easy to digest. Yeah, I mean, that is going to happen. Yeah, so there's going to be like a a combat summary that you'll be able to bring up. And then I also just want to generally improve the combat log too. So we're definitely going to do that, but that's going to be a massive effort, so probably won't do that until we're getting closer to release. I want to get the rest of the game feeling good. I think the combat log is important, but it's not like the most important thing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it is happening, yeah. The combat log is not very useful right now, so I definitely think like distilling it down, coming up with like a summary screen, but also just like a better way of navigating the combat log so that you can like more easily trace like which cards did which things and which interactions happened. I think that would be incredibly useful. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna know we're a little bit early, but I'm gonna take a quick break so I can refill my coffee, and then when we come back, we're gonna try this quality of life change here. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. So for context, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it so that cards will quick move back to their original positions when you use them in events like enchant, upgrade. So actually there's one situation where this is going to be a little bit tricky. But we will think about that later. So for instance, let's see, let's just do generate test map. So I'll show you the problem first, and then we'll work on fixing it. So if I have a skeleton warrior and I put it there, and I go into the upgrade, and I say, okay, boom, upgrade this guy, and I click this, he goes into the inventory instead of back to the board where he existed. So that's what we're trying to solve, basically. So what I'm going to need to do is I need to store the last board and the last position the card was at when I move it. So let's figure that out. So I'm going to need a couple of pieces of information here. Let's do private read-only dictionary base card, and then we'll do board vector to I position. Last known card positions. So we're going to store that in the board manager. I'm also going to need to do private read-only hash set. Let's just do base card registered cards. Okay. So when we register a board, so we register the board. What we're going to want to do is registration.board.board inventory component connect to card placed on card placed. Connect to card placed. Okay. Let's do on card placed. This is going to be the base card ref. We'll just do ref position. Card ref position. We'll pass in the registration dot board there, and the card ref in position. Okay. Private void on card placed. We're gonna do board. Oh, shoot. Let's make this a list. This is gonna be a mess. Board, base card ref, vector to I position. Okay. If not registered, actually, do we need to do this? Maybe I don't need to do this. On card placed. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say var card is equal to card ref dot value. Last known card positions dot try add card. We'll just add the new list there. Okay. So let's do var positions is equal to last known card positions. We're going to do var filtered positions is equal to positions where board is not equal to board. So we're going to filter out any previous positions. We're going to filter out any previous positions where the board is equal to the board that we're currently being placed on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say filtered positions dot add board and position. And then we will say last known card positions is equal to filtered positions there. So I am going to need to hook into the card registration here. So we're going to say if not registered cards contains card, we're going to do card dot connect to card dot how am I doing pre-delete? Oh. Card node dot connect to pre-delete on card pre-delete card registered cards that add card. Okay. Okay, private void on card pre-delete. We got the base card here. We're going to remove last known card positions and remove the registered cards from there. I think that's correct. Let me just put some logging in here. Data initializer dot log dot information card pre-delete handled in board manager. Okay, and then we're gonna do a log here. Card placed handled in board manager. Okay, so we have this get quick move target for board for card. Public vector to I get previous card position for quick move. And then we're gonna do board quick move target. And then we're also gonna need the base card. So we're gonna do last known card positions dot try get value out var positions. Previous position is equal to positions first or default board equals quick move target. And then we're going to return, let's make this a nullable value. Get previous card position for quick move. So that should work. I hope that works anyway. The duck looked dope. I'm glad you liked it. Leginger Dev, I'm glad you liked it. Did it in the classic Firebelly style with the hood and everything. Okay. So now if I go to my card mouse events manager, so we have in here get quick move target for board if that target board is null. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say var last known position is equal to board manager get previous card position for quick move. I'm going to rename this to get last known. Get last known. Oh, it's not going to work. Reload the window, I guess. I've made it a legendary duck. I love your color scheme. Thank you. Yeah. That was a little bit going off a little bit outside my comfort zone because I didn't use a palette for that. I just looked at the colors you already had for your ducks. For anyone curious, by the way, Leginger Dev has a game coming out. He invited me to make a little duck character for the game. But yeah, I kind of just like chose colors that looked like they would work with your existing duck scheme. So I'm glad you like them. Last known position, get previous card position for quick move. Okay, so we're going to say if last known position is not equal to null and target board dot try board inventory component dot try place card at position last known position, or of course I need the card. Last known position dot value. So we're basically what we're doing is we're saying if we have a last known position, we're going to try to place this, and this try place card at position will return false if it cannot be placed. So if you moved things around and that last position is now occupied, that's going to fail. So if this statement fails, and then it's going to move on to try place card at next available position. If either of those succeed, then it's going to do the transfer. If both of those fail, then it's just going to return false out of here. So I think that will work. And then we're pruning the last known card positions whenever that card gets removed. So we don't have a dictionary that's just moving up, just increasing in size over time. So let's see if that works. Card placed handled in board manager. Okay. So if I do this and I put that there, card placed handled in board manager, cool. If I put this here and I move it back, oh. I may actually need a logic change to this because I think yeah, that's just going to automatically target the inventory. So this logic is not going to work. So the problem is the quick move is ordering boards by priority, which is fine, but actually what I need to do is I need to look at the last known positions and quick move it back to the last board. So this is actually kind of like a somewhat different thing. Let's change this to a stack. Do I want to change that to a stack? This might need to become a stack and I just pop it off the stack. The problem though is I'm going to need get previous card position for quick move. This is actually going to have to be board vector 2I position. Can that be nullable? So we're going to do positions.pop removes and returns the object. I think that's okay. Because if it fails, we don't necessarily want to store that. So we go to card mouse events manager. So this is actually going to need to be just this. We're actually going to have to get rid of this now. Var placed at last known position is equal to last known position is not equal to null. Okay, maybe that's correct. So we'll get previous card position for quick move. It's going to use the last board that was at as well as the last position. Otherwise, it's just going to fall back to this quick move target for board. So I wonder, let's see, because this check could fail, but the quick move could still work. So what I need to do is probably just grab this stuff here and move this up. If target board equals null and not placed at last known position. Otherwise, we can do this. Is that going to work? So we try to quick move the card. We get the quick move target, which is just like the priority ordering. But then we also get the last known position. And if we can place that card successfully at the last known position, this check is going to fail, so it's not going to return early. So this is only going to return early if there's no target board and there's no last known position that could be placed at. And then we'll fall back to this, which is that even if we didn't place this at a correct position, we can still try to place it at the next target board here. I hope that works. We'll see. How's the wish list on the game looking, by the way? I think we're around 3,500, something like that. Can I not do 2 stack? I can do positions.clear, positions. Okay, let's see if that works. I have no idea. How can I join the playtest? Playtest starts for everyone on the 13th of April, but you can also subscribe to the Patreon to get access on Monday, which is the 6th. I made the mistake of playing League of Legends again and immediately got called a slur. It really takes me back. There you go. Hello. Welcome. 2,500 is good, 3,500. I'm sad at 5,700, hoping before release to get some good coverage and hit 10K at least. Yeah. I saw that you sent a screenshot. I'll take a look at it. I mean, I do have a larger marketing effort coming up relatively soon, so I'm hoping that the wish lists are good there. Oh, this doesn't work at all. Parameter cannot be null. Board manager 182. 182. That's not right. Get quick move target board for card. Something's funky. All right, well, this is ending up a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, but we'll get it. Why is this not working all of a sudden? Did I get some other kind of error? Okay, something's going wrong here. Let's just go to the quick move stuff and we'll see what happens. I don't know what broke all of a sudden. Board manager, owner board is that. Target board is equal to get quick move target for board. Okay, old card position. Last known position. Oh, I think I know why. Shoot, this shouldn't be a stack then. I guess this should be a list. Switch it back to a list. This needs to be... So the last known position is always the position that the card is on right now. But I need it to be the second to last one. If positions dot length dot count is greater than 1, we're going to return positions that, I think. Return null. Now we got to go all the way back down here. Positions dot add range filtered positions. Positions dot add. Okay, let's try that. That did not work. It's not breaking anymore, but it's also not working. Why is it so hard? Released my first game on itch the other day. Very nice, congratulations. Got a whopping 2 plays, so I feel like 3,500 wishlist is pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, 3,500 wishlist is solid depending on, you know, your experience. Like if you've never sold a game before, 3,500 wishlist is really good. But Gunforged had like 11,000 wishlists at launch. So I'm kind of like well behind Gunforged, but I also want this game to do better than Gunforged. So the wishlist count is definitely lower than what it should be. But like I said, there's a marketing effort coming soon. Last known card positions. Why is there... Oh, wait. Skeleton Warrior. Board 1. Oh, I wish I could see the name in here easily. Anyway, position is 2-2. I think that's right. Okay, so that just got moved here. Now if I do this... Last known card positions. So positions here. Why is it saying 0-0 was the last known position? So this this card positions update is not working. Okay, let's take a look at this one then. Oh, this is gonna... Okay, so if I do this, 2, 2. Oh, I see. So this is defaulting. Why is it defaulting to null in 0, 0? What the heck? Oh, I guess I'm doing my filter wrong. This needs to be equals board. That's right. Okay. We're going to get it eventually. Hello, Jeremy. Welcome. I think that Gunforge is more obvious as to what it is. Yeah, that's true. Did you screw up with Gunforge though and put in an XFS way too early? Was that someone else? No, I did that. Yeah, that was me. I did screw up. I did, but I learned a lot, so those mistakes will not be made again. Why is that not working? This is like the simplest code of all time. It's literally just not doing what I want it to do. Why is it going back to the inventory? That's so freaking annoying. Gotta debug this whole thing for 50 minutes. Okay. So that goes there. Last known card positions. Let's just try this. So positions. Why is it 0, 0? I don't understand why it's saying 0, 0 is the last known position. It's so hard to like figure out which boards are being filtered out here too. So the problem is it's like clearing this board's last known positions there for some reason. Okay. Why is that happening? Okay, let's just start up here. I have no evidence, but I feel like Alchemortis is a game that has potential to spread more after it comes out. Yeah, I think so. Because it's such a hard game to show in like trailers and stuff. I think that maybe word of mouth is going to be a big deal. But I don't know for sure. All right, let's put a breakpoint there. Okay. It's only got one entry in here. Oh, wait a minute. No, this was right. On card placed. We want to retain that. No, that was correct before. So I basically want to keep all of the previously known positions where the board that's registered is not equal to the board the card is currently on. So basically what I'm trying to do here is just retain only one history entry for each board is what essentially I'm trying to do. So we're going to filter out all the positions that are not equal to the current board is on, but then we immediately add the current position of the current board. So if I do this, positions here, so that's 0, 0, but we're going to filter out the positions, then we're going to add the filtered positions back, and then we're going to add this board position. So now positions contains that. Okay. So now when I move this over, filtered positions, positions.add range. So that's 0. So this, why is that positions being filtered out? Why is it not keeping the last? I don't understand that. Why is it not keeping the last position? All right, let's just make this easier. Let's do a to list here so I can actually see the results of that filter. There's something weird going on. Can you elaborate putting Gunforge on Nextfest too early? Well, yeah, I mean, Gunforge wasn't really ready. Like, the thing with Nextfest is that you shouldn't really put a game up on Nextfest until it's basically done. And Gunforge was not basically done. So I just kind of like was not able to capitalize on that. Okay, maybe there was some enumeration weirdness happening here. But that seems to be keeping that filtered positions now. And then I should have 2 entries in this positions now. Yeah. Okay. All right, so that makes sense. So now if I click this, is this going to go back to where it was? No. Why isn't this working? I'm completely lost. I don't know why this isn't working. Like, this line is failing here. I don't understand that. Always the simplest things that take forever. Yeah, seriously. How are you scheduling the playtest? It starts on Monday. I don't know if that's the question you were asking. But that's what it does. I really am kind of lost. I don't know why it's failing here now. Like, cardboard owner is null. I don't understand that. Why is the cardboard owner null? I have no idea. I mean, there's going to need to be extra logic in here too, because I don't want to end up with like an infinite bounce back and forth, which is what I'm kind of setting up now. So when a quick move is successful, I almost need to remove that last known position so it can fall back to the default quick move behavior. But the first thing to figure out is why the heck this isn't working at all. Well, we know that this last node position is working, so let's just go ahead and do try quick move card. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this here and then move that there, and then we'll do this. Okay, so target board. Can I do target board .owner.name. Player inventory. Okay, so the target board is player inventory. We've got the old card position. Last known position. So last known position is 10. So let's do last known position dot item 1 dot owner dot name. Oh, last known position dot value dot item 1 dot owner dot name. Oh, I guess that's fine. Wait, is that fine? No, it's saying, yeah, it's grabbing the combat board again. So this get previous position for quick move is wrong. So if I do this and I do that and I click this. Okay, so we've got positions. It should be getting the first element here. Let's see. Does this need to be positions 2? Maybe I just did that wrong. I thought it was like index from the last, but maybe it's the second element from the last. Maybe that's what it was. Okay, all right. So now we end up with an infinite loop here, but this is working now, so I was just doing that wrong. So if I do this now, let's say I have my skeleton warrior there and I put it here, I move it back, he goes back there. So now we just gotta prevent add item giant squid. Now we just gotta prevent it from we got to check if it gets prevented from being placed if the new spot is occupied. Also, I want to see if this gets cleared. Card pre-delete handled in board manager. Okay. So if I put the skeleton warrior here and then I put the squid where he was, it should default to that. So I put the squid there, put the squid here. That squid will go back to the combat board, but then it bounces around, you see. So I need to make it so that once you've restored the position, I think it should probably clear all the other positions, right? Maybe. Well, the problem is if I quick move, yeah, I actually don't know how that logic should work. If I quick move here, click back, quick move there, click back there, put the skeleton there, that's going to fail, so it's going to go back to the inventory. Okay, so that's working. It's just, I need to figure out how to prevent like infinite loops. Like how do I get back to the default quick move behavior? I think that's the big thing. Shallow versus deep or some nonsense like that? I don't think so. Like in 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah, it starts on Monday. So it starts on Monday. It lasts for 2 weeks. The first week is for Patreon members only. Appreciate if you could answer about my devlog. Yeah, I could try. I'm very busy, but I could try. Giant Squid is my new cover band for There Will Be Giants. Nice. Have you considered an undo last sale mechanic in the sell section? Could be nice and acts as a cheeky inventory slot. No, I don't think I'm going to do any sort of like undoing selling, because like the whole reason the sell board is like this is like this is a very intentional action, right? So it's not really it's not possible to quick move to the sell board at all. And there's like no way to accidentally drag a card to the cell. The only reason you drag a card to the cell accidentally is if you weren't thinking, but this game is all about thinking. So if you accidentally, unintentionally, absent-mindedly sell something that you wanted to keep, I'm comfortable saying like that's on you, because like there's no way to like accidentally like bump a button and sell it. So because this action is so intentional, like you actually have to drag the card over onto the cell grid, and there's no way to like accidentally do that. I don't feel really a need to add some sort of like recovery mechanic to that. No worries, friend. Take your time. Yeah, thank you. Fair enough. So now I got to figure out, how do I prevent infinite loops? Because like, let me think about this logic here. So if I move the giant squid, if I quick move, it should go to the inventory first. And if I go to the alchemy pot, it should go back to the inventory. But if I click this again, it's going to go back to the alchemy pot. So I almost wonder, like, maybe the solution here is like, there are some boards that shouldn't record historical position data. Maybe that's the way to do it. So then I basically only end up with a loop here, or if I go here and click this, that goes back there instead of back to the inventory. Maybe that's the way to do it. So like these boards, the inventory and the player board, are the only boards that track the position history for the card. And so when I do this and put it in alchemy and I click back, that's either going to go back to that board or it's going to go back to the inventory. I think that's probably the way to do it, because otherwise I'll end up with like an infinite loop between these two boards, which I don't want, right? So I think that's probably the next step. Yeah, I think that's probably the next step. Okay. Glitchy or bad DPI on a mouse could do it, or maybe alt tabbing. Have to think, unplayable. Want to buy delete key to sell things, moving items is too complicated. Yeah, I mean, I could do, I don't have a problem with making like the delete key delete things, I guess. If you're like hovering over it and you press delete. You could clear a board entry of the source when moving. No, because then there would be no data for it to know where to go back to, right? Or clear. Wait, let me think about that. So if I quick move from the inventory back to the, or from the combat board back to the inventory, then I clear the entry for the combat board. I don't think that will work, unless I'm misunderstanding it. Because like if I take a card from my inventory here and I put it in alchemy and I go, wait, I don't want that, and I put it back, I want it to go back to the spot that it was at. But if I clear that source on transfer, it won't know where to go back to. I think the loop between these things is fine. It's just like maybe this board shouldn't store historical data. So when I bring this back over, and I drop it there, and when I quick move it, it doesn't go back into the alchemy. So there's kind of be like transient boards that are just like, they don't store any state about the card positions. It's only these two. I think that's it. I was joking, but I wouldn't complain if there was a quick sell key. Gotcha. You said something earlier that made me think. Can you track which of your cards was the MVP? Like which card attributed the most overall damage? Yeah, that should be, well, maybe not. I guess the part where that gets complicated is like with the alchemy system. The alchemy system technically creates new card references. So let's say that I took the Skeleton Warrior and I added some abilities to it via alchemy. That becomes a new Skeleton Warrior, and so what I'd have to do is like have a like permanent sort of like ID that gets transferred over, and then use that ID to identify cards so I could track like which card was the MVP. Or, you know, it could just be like, it just tracks each card reference separately, and so if you end up with a super alchemized card that you haven't changed in a while, then it could just track that data by itself, you know what I mean? It's a new item, so maybe it's okay to reset the MVP until it does enough. Yeah, that maybe that's true, right? Maybe it's like, maybe that's just that way of handling it is fine. So like, if you alchemize a card, it's basically a new card. And so whatever card you've had on your board the longest that has remained unalchemized or unchanged via alchemy, that's the card that becomes your MVP, assuming it does like the most DPS or whatever. You'd have to store the ID of the created card as attributes. Yeah, I think what I would do is like every time a new card gets created from scratch, I could assign an ID to it and just make sure that ID gets carried over through the alchemy process. And then I can just say like, I could just track all the stats based on like the card ID, so on and so forth. But that sounds like a lot of work. Showing the player evolution tree post game could be neat. Little star in the corner or something. ID for the exact configuration. Yeah, that would be tricky. It would be tricky. It's certainly much easier just to do the MVP tracking for each new card reference. Because the only time the card reference changes is when it goes through the alchemy process. But when you add enchants and everything, like that's just being added to the existing card reference. And when you upgrade a card, that's just added to the existing card reference. So yeah. I mean, and maybe it's the case that I could change alchemy where it doesn't actually create any new card references. Like I don't know if that actually needs to happen anymore, since you get all of the outputs are equal to all the inputs. So I could rework that system maybe so that it actually doesn't create a new card instance. That may actually be the way to do it. Just try not to create new card instances whenever possible. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Obviously, it's not a priority right now, but that's all right. Anyway, let's go to the board here. Private bool. Track last known card positions. Okay, so let's build this. Okay, we'll go to the player inventory now. Oh, we're already on it. Okay, this board here, track last known card positions. Now we'll go to the drawer UI. This board here, track last known card positions. And then in my board manager, if registration, track known card, last known card positions. Okay. So hopefully this works now. So this should just default back to the typical quick move. Ups. Uh-oh. Oh, right. Ah, shoot. Now it's all messed up. Since this doesn't create an entry for that card, it's still looking at the second to last. So if I put this here and then here and then here, that's going to go to the second to last board that it was on. Ah, fudge. Okay, I think there's a way to fix it though. So my get quick move, get what? Get previous card position for quick move. Let's just do this. If positions equals null, return null. For var I equals 0, I is less than, no, var I equals positions.count minus 1. If positions.board is not equal to get cardboard owner. So we're just going to scan from the end of the list, find the first entry from the end where the board is not equal to the current cardboard owner. And that should be it. So instead of just assuming that the second to last element is going to be the one we want to go to, we'll just find the first one that is not equal to the board that it's currently on. So in the case of boards that are not tracking data, it's just going to be the last board. But in the case of the boards that are tracking data, it's going to be the second to last board. I think that should work. Perfect. And then if I do this, see how those go into a nice loop there? But I put this guy here, that goes back to my combat board where I had him. But if I put it here now and I go here and I put it back, that will go back there. And now we've got this, right? So now if I do add item skeleton dragon, what should happen is I do this and it fails. Now maybe what I want to do is clear the data on failed quick move. That may be what I want to do, because otherwise it's going to still try to go to that position. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. Because if I put this here and I click here, that's just going to go to the next available slot. So maybe that's just a minor detail that I don't really need to worry about too much right now. The main thing is like to solve the problem where you drag this over to alchemy and you want to take it out. It didn't previously go back to where you wanted it. Also, this should work with the upgrades now too. So if I put the Fist of Anger here and then I go here and upgrade, and then I want to quick move it back to where it was, it'll go back there. So that's going to be really nice when I've got like my board filled with items and I just want to say, okay, I want to upgrade the Skeleton Warrior. This should probably be... Oh, the problem here though is now the quick move is broken to this. So it's just always going to go back to the inventory. Well, that broke now, because now I can't quickly click on this guy to add it to the upgrade. So I think this logic needs to change again. So maybe maybe this actually just needs to change. Maybe I keep relying on the quick move priority. Let me think about this. So I don't think this will work, but maybe it will. So I get the board that is like the default quick move target, and then I find an entry for that board and go to that position if there's an entry. Yeah, the problem, so yeah, there's a lot of conditions here that actually need to be handled. Because like if I'm in an upgrade event, obviously when I click this to quick move, I don't want it to go back in my inventory. I want it to go here. And then when I click back on this, I want it to go back in my inventory. But that's broken now because it always defaults to going to the last known position instead of here. So I might need to rethink this actually again. The issue with that would be if the abilities you want to go into another card, so MVPs will get lost instantly in favor of the one card with the best abilities. Could have an end of run screen with stuff like most alchemized, longest unchanged card. Should do an achievement to keep an original skeleton until the end, called untouchable. Yeah, we could do interesting achievements like that for sure. Hello, Alpi V4. Alpiv4. Yo, Firebelly, I'm doing your multiplayer course right now. It's one of the better ones. I tried some Game Dev TV and Zenva ones. Your explanations are good, and I like how structured your approach is. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. Has anyone discussed having a final... and welcome to the stream, by the way. Has anyone discussed having a final challenge boss that some other players' board that won their run could just grab people's winning boards every so often to add to the list? Yeah, there was a period of time where I was like, I wonder if I should add some like light multiplayer elements, but that's definitely out of scope. So maybe if Alchemortis does well and I continue supporting the game with new content, that could be something. Could also be another achievement, yeah. I wonder if I should pass in the target board here now. Maybe that should be the target board. Oops, wrong place. So instead of doing this, we're going to say options. We're going to find the first one where the board is equal to the target board that we want to move to. I wonder if that's the thing to do. So the quick move system will prioritize the boards in terms of which board we want to target for quick move. We're going to look for that target. And if we have a last known position at that target, we'll use that position. Otherwise, we'll just move the card to the target board. So in the case where we have upgrades, like an upgrade board available, it should always go to that upgrade board, regardless of where it's coming from. There we go. But then when I click return, it's going to go back to a historical position. Nope. Oh, it's because this board has a higher priority than this board. So that's not going to work either. Yeah, I think there's just like conflicting data here. I need a better way of like figuring out which board it needs to go to. I mean, it makes sense like if you just talk about it, right? Oh, if I have a board like this up on the screen and I click a card, it should go into that board. And then when I click it, it should go back to the last board that it was in. Maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this logic work with the current setup here. May need to think about that some more. Wow. Nothing like getting your butt kicked by a very simple feature. Nothing quite like it, let me tell you what. Does it really need this behavior? Yes. Yeah, this is going to be a huge quality of life improvement because it's really annoying the way that it works currently. So yes, I would say that this behavior is a necessary quality of life improvement. Okay, well, I'm going to have to think about this some more. But let's get rid of this because this isn't working. No. Actually, we'll just do this. Okay. Well, I've been defeated yet again. Well played, well played. Anyway, I'll end the stream there for a couple of reasons. One, I need to eat lunch, and number two, I need to finish the surprise that I was mentioning in Discord, which I obviously can't do on stream because then you'll know what the surprise is. So I'm going to spend this afternoon getting this quick move stuff finished, and then also working on the new surprise for the playtest. And I'll just be generally working through this backlog as well. But anyway, commit count. All right, let's see what the commit count is. We are at 2,923 commits. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that's it for the stream today. Thank you everyone for watching. You can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. And as a reminder, the playtest starts on Monday for Patreon members. So head on over to the Patreon page, subscribe if you so choose. You'll get a week of access to the playtest before everyone else. But again, you do not need to support on Patreon to get access to the playtest. The playtest will be open for anyone that wants to play it on the 13th of April. So yeah, I'll get all that stuff working this weekend. And then for Patreon subscribers, you should see emails going out Monday with your Steam key for the playtest. And then for everyone else, just follow the Discord to be notified when that all goes live. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.